This channel supports Extra Life in its efforts to raise money for the Children's Miracle Network. For more information about how to donate and join in their efforts, go to the link displayed here. Extra Life. Play games, heal kids. What up, everybody? This is your boy Blak Magus. So, Sony has announced the pricing and release date of the PlayStation 5 for North America, Japan, Australia, New Zealand, and South Korea and Canada. Okay, I was like sitting here thinking, I'm gonna forget a country, and I was trying not to, but I didn't forget a country. I'm proud of myself. All of those countries will be getting the PlayStation 5. Good Lord, I just really blanked on the release date for a second, trying to get the countries together. On November 12th. November 12th, it comes out in all of those countries. And god damn it, I did forget. It's US, Japan, Canada, Mexico. My apologies, Mexico. Australia, New Zealand, and South Korea. Those are all the countries it comes out in on November 12th. November 19th is the rest of the world. Basically, subject to import, export laws, product availability, all that. Sony did make sure to put that as a asterisk because it's not going to necessarily be in the entire rest of the world. It's going to be a healthy amount of countries throughout Asia, North America, not North America, but South America, Asia, South America, Europe, things like that. Anyway, okay, got to that part. So, you have the $399 digital version, which does not have a disc drive. And then the $499 standard version, which comes with the Ultra HD Blu-ray disc drive. So, what's the biggest difference between the two? I just named it, the disc drive. So it's a question of which one will appeal the most to you when it comes to this, because you're getting everything the same. Looking at the specs here, you're still going to get the Zen 2 CPU with 8 cores, 16 threads, 3.5 gigahertz. Same graphics card. It's going to be the Radeon RDNA. I'm looking at the PlayStation blog site if you don't realize this. That's why I know this. RDNA 2 based graphics engine that's going to let you do ray tracing and all that. 10.3 teraflops. Okay, y'all. God damn. I hate reading all this shit sometimes because people be like, "Ooh, teraflops," and it's like, do you know what a fucking teraflop is? No, most of us don't know that shit. So why the fuck are we getting hyped over, letting people hype us over that shit? Anyway, 16 gigs of GDDR6 memory, an 825 gigabyte hard drive. It's a custom hard drive that Sony had made for them. Then you have HDMI out, capable of doing 4K at 120 hertz. By the way, all y'all getting hyped about the fact that you can have 120 frames per second and all that shit. Make sure you have that 120 hertz TV and shit like that. Make sure you have a TV that supports 120 frames per second. Basically, is what I'm saying. Which most of us won't have. Some of us don't even have TVs that support 60. I'm sure, because not a lot of people are going to buy TVs like that. We keep our TVs forever these days. TVs last forever, too. 8K will be able to be done, all that shit. And I lied. Most of us do have TVs capable of 60 frames per second. I'm just being a dick because it's just the numbers that I'm throwing out. I'm just sitting here in my mind as somebody who's bought a bunch of stuff and looked into a lot of stuff. It's just running through my mind subject to capabilities of what you have, which generally what is true. Anyway, I'm rambling. Then you're gonna have, of course, the 3D audio, blah 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 blah, all that good stuff. Pretty much, they're the same system, with the exception of that damn disk drive. So It's a question of the $100. Are you willing to spend that $100 to still be able to use this? Or are you comfortable enough to think that you'll be able to live a life of digital only? Remember, digital only, as it stands now, don't know if things are going to be changing anytime soon, but you can still trade in games. So once you're finished with the game, you trade it in and get something back for it, towards the purchase of another. That ain't so with digital. Once you buy it, that's yours. It's available to you as long as the publisher provides it on the store. Yes, publishers will pull digital content. It has happened before. As things get older, they no longer distribute things. They no longer support certain things when it comes to those games, such as online play. We've seen a lot of servers turned off over the past few years for some games that are significantly older that people think that they're going to come back and play sometime soon. It makes sense, but for a lot of people, that's something that makes them pause, because we all feel like once we buy something and we own it, we should be able to do what the fuck we want with it. But it's not like that with digital media. Unfortunately, it's just the way it goes. So you have to consider that. You got to consider hard drive space. Now, it's funny because people like to say the hard drive space is one of their biggest issues. Reality is, even if you buy the disc-based game, you're going to put on a hell of a lot of data. The disc generally is kind of just like a key these days with a lot of games, especially with a lot of these games, all these updates, these huge updates, DLC, things like that, bonus content. You're going to eat up the hard drive anyway, so I don't know if having a disc is necessarily going to be a big differentiator for as far as, space, storage, management. So, but for some, that's in their minds a big thing to weigh. So, I like to think, for me personally, the biggest differentiator is, am I comfortable knowing that once I purchase this, I don't get anything back and it can go away? If you own a disc, it never goes away. It may not play like the updated version is, because they're no longer providing the updates. So for some reason you wipe out your hard drive after a game has been discontinued, and they don't no longer provide patches or anything. I don't think that. I'm trying to think. Is there a game that ever stopped providing patches? That's a good fucking question. I know servers and stuff get turned off, but do they not provide patches? I mean, they can. They can say, like, no, we're not posting any digital content of this no more. It's out. We're out. So you have to play the base game with all the flaws. You fine with that? Cool. But at least you get to play the game. Those are the things that I think weigh the most. For me, I keep saying in my mind, I'm old school. I like hard discs. But over the past year, I've found myself to just be all digital, only buy stuff digitally, and not care to have a disc. The idea of swapping is kind of, annoying now. Whereas before, I was that gung-ho, hey, I want to at least be able to trade something in if I choose to. And at least if I have the disc, nobody can take it away from me, blah, blah. I was that guy. But as time has gone on, I'm much less that guy, and much like, I generally only buy stuff that I really, really want anyway, or that I'm really, really interested in. I've been more willing to wait for sales these days, so if I cop something for 20%, 30%, 40%, 50%, even more off, I'm comfortable with it. Like, PlayStation hits, I've gotten a lot of games that I've never thought about through that. I invest in PlayStation Plus and appreciate the free stuff they got, so it always kind of gives me something to play. I'm just thinking, like, I used to buy MLB The Show around launch every year, disc-wise. Now, I tend to wait because, one, they tend to put it on PlayStation Plus more these days. And two, eventually it gets much more cheaper, and I'll catch it on the PlayStation sale for $20 or something. Download it, the older version you could play for a while because your seasons carry over, so I just carry my save file over and I'm good to go. Like, so much of what I play and what I'm interested in, it behooves me to do digital. And then the fact that it's going to be $400, basically the same exact price as I paid for the PlayStation 4 at launch, and the same exact price as the PlayStation Pro sold for at its launch. You're going to get the PS5 for the same thing. You just don't have no discs. You don't have a disc drive, so you're literally upgrading to the next generation without spending more to do so at the initial purchase price. So look at it that way. That's pretty much my breakdown of it. But for you, it may be different. Discs, some places have sales. I think Amazon sometimes still do the $10 off if you buy the disc version. That might save you some dough in games that way. Stuff like that. So, hey, that's the basics of it, at least in my mind, from my perspective. At the end of the day, though, it's going to all come down to your sensibilities, as I've said before, and what it is that you want out of your console. So, there you have it. Anyway, as always, you guys, feel free to hit me up. Let me know what you think, and I'll holler at you later. This your boy Blak, makers, and I'm out. Deuces.